Hi, everybody. Welcome to everybody that is listening and watching us right now. This is the Adventures of ICON-ICA Jones podcast with your wonderful Genderfluid Monster Latin host, me, Rafy. And then I obviously have here my gorgeous, stunning, the icon, the legend, the moment. Now, come on now. The one and the only, the back trans femme legend, Miss Shonsky. How are you, my love?
I'm fantastic, doll. How are you?
Girl, I am, celebrated, praised, loved, and worshipped. We love all
If
of
you
that.
must, truly.
Right, right. Like when they ask me about my pronouns, we will get to. I always tell them specifically, my pronouns are your Majesty, your Highness, you're one and above, the only one, the goddess, the serve, all of that.
If you must, because I go by Enchantress, Goddess, Legend.
Empress, yeah, all of that, yeah. Anything that extend descends and goes above royalty, those are our pronouns. So, but
Period.
coming back to the topic, obviously we're talking about Pride Month, and we do want to start off by saying our actual pronouns. I'm gender fluid, so my pronouns are he, him, she, her. And Miss Shonsky, what are your pronouns, my love?
My iconic pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
And that's on period, bitch. Okay.
Yes, getting too much into it, though.
Okay, get into it, bitch. Get the line, get the fast pass at Disney, bitch, because we're about to go in this ride, ho. So, we want to start off a little bit by saying, what does pride signify or mean to us? Obviously, we're both POC LGBTQIA individuals, and we had a lot of experiences in this world and this life as obviously LGBTQIA individuals. But I want to start first with you, Miss Shonsky, my girl. Tell me, what does pride mean to you, and what does pride signify for our community in our today age in 2021? What does pride mean?
Pride to me is an acknowledgement of how far we come as a community and as a society when it comes to the acceptance and understanding of the diversity that is the LGBTQ plus community, but also serves as a reminder that we have a lot of work to do, not only as a society, but as a community introspectively. We need to look inwardly and understand that there are a lot of problems in our community when it comes to the blatant misogyny or transphobia experienced by trans people like myself, or the blatant racism that both of us have experienced as POC people from our white cisgender counterparts. So we need to look introspectively and understand that we have a lot of work to do as a community if we want to be stronger for ourselves and people around us, but also pride just serves as a pillar of hope around the country, around the world, especially in the country too. Because there are a lot of countries that do not accept LGBTQ plus people yet as far as legislation goes. So it serves as keep going, keep trucking along. You're going to get to where you need to be. Just keep fighting because the fight's never going to be over. The fight will keep going.
That's a
No matter
fact.
what.
And that's the thing about it. Pride is not only an acknowledgement of the celebration that we have in order that we're able to freely be the people that we are and we desire to be, but also we have to acknowledge as well, the situations and the struggles that we go through as a community ourselves, the own self-inflicted hate and the own self-inflicted pain and misery that we apply to each other, which is, it could be effects caused by other things that affect other individuals because everybody has their own experiences. Everybody goes through their own traumas and situations. However, that doesn't mean that should be reflected upon the other individuals in your own community. At the end of the day, we're a family. We stand for each other. There is no gay without lesbian. There's no lesbians without trans. There's nobody without trans, period. And for a lot of people to provide that and to be so, assertive and so negative of that, it's quite unfortunate because there's a lot of us that are very supportive of each other. There's a lot of us that are very, our strength and our support is very sacrosanct to us. So when we don't have that support, especially from the ones in our community, then it is stressful. But at the end of the day, pride is a celebration. Pride is love. Pride is care. Pride is everything. So as much as, we have our little struggles and stuff, we love each other, girl. We stand for each other. There's nobody better than us. We are one of the best communities in the fucking world, girl. Our shit be on fleek all the time.
Yeah, I know it's so hard being elite. It's just so hard being at the top of
Right.
transcending humanity. It's such a challenge, truly. I feel bad for us that we are just so sickening and we eat it up every
Right.
single time.
Like on a scale of like, an amber to like pearls and sapphires, bitch, we're diamonds. Like
Come on.
we're the god tier of the gems classification, bitch. Like
I'm an authority tease, giving very much to the universe.
very, very much. I don't give a fuck, bitch. I'm worth too much for your purchase, honey. So I wish just giving it to the girls how we needed to give them this thing. But, girl, pride to me means so much, especially nowadays, because nowadays, obviously, it's been officially 5 years since gay marriage was legalized in the entire United States.
That's crazy.
Which that's something I never thought I would have ever seen when I was, because it happened when I was still in high school. So
Yeah.
the fact that I got to see that as a teenager, which is something I thought was never going to happen, because being realistic, there was just too many conflicts in terms of every state actually, being applied that. But the fact that the Supreme Court declared that, love is love no matter what their gender identity is or no matter what their sexuality is, to me, that was just absolutely fascinating to hear. And I'm so happy that 5 years now, we can still legally get married, even though we have a lot of other conflicts. And there's some states pulling a lot of stunts, like a lot of these girls on Drag Race Miss thing. But at the end of the motherfucking day, bitch, you're not gonna take away our rights, the rights of
No,
our people.
no. I love the fact that we're still having to fight. Well, I don't love the fact, but we still have to fight on the legislative level to make sure that we are seen as people, because legislation does like to erase Black and Brown and Indigenous, people of color, et cetera, LGBTQ plus people. It's been known for that for decades upon decades upon decades. And me in my pre-transition era, seeing that, coming from my background, being in a religious family and not being accepted for my queerness, and before even my transness, it was my first time ever actually being seen or feeling like I was seen on a countrywide level. Like, people that are like me, queer, trans, gay, whatever, it's like one of the biggest moments of visibility on a legislative level. Like, we
Right.
finally have the chance to say that legislatively we are important and our rights as individuals matter, but the fight's not even over yet. If that was just the
That's
beginning.
true. Yeah, I
What I
agree with
hate,
that.
I will say this, I will critique our community. A lot of people, now you know who I'm talking about, a lot of certain
Oh,
people in our a certain
stay
demographic,
there, Nick. No, I'm playing.
a certain
Girl.
demographic in our community
Mm-hmm.
will, the fight is just for gay rights and gay marriage and it ends there.
Mm,
We are in an era right now where transness is the biggest political topic right now. Can you have access to legal resources? Can you start your HRT? Can you even be in sports? Can you use the personal bathroom of your choice? Like, we need to fight for those rights as well. But there are people that say, yay, I can get married. Y'all trans girls, y'all be easy now. But I got what I need. Like, that's not fair. That's not treating our community like equal. You want to just be at
exactly.
the top of the food chain when it comes to your rights as people. But rights as a community are intersectional. I need rights as a trans woman. I need rights as a Black woman. I need rights, this, that, the third. But you got what you needed and said, well, I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Right.
Y'all be cute though.
See, but
No.
at the end of the day, it is because of trans people that they have the ability to actually get married and have all these policies that are in. It is because of trans people the fact that they can go on and have these pride parades and have these celebrations embracing their sexuality and the way they identify. It is due to trans people that we have any rights of any sort whatsoever. It wasn't due to gay men. Yes, there is people who are they're not trans, that are, just cisgender people who just identify as gay, lesbian, bisexual, and they have contributed as well, but none of their contributions had been as significant and as influential as trans people in our community. So to simply diminish the pillar of how pretty much we basically structure pride now to be, and diminish them to a form where they don't even have a right to voice their opinion on their problems, on their situations, it is very frustrating, because at the end of the day, without the T, bitch, you LGB bitches, ain't none of you bitches got nothing without the T, honey. And the
Bruh,
T is always the truth. So
can we get into hard though?
okay.
What about the community though? What I will say
Mm-hmm.
this, because in like, as a Black person myself, in a lot of Black civil rights movements, it have been Black queer people and Black trans people at the front lines of those as well as our own community, LGBTQ plus community. And I always wondered why that is, but I know for a fact that trans people, having been denied almost everything in our entire lives, we already know it's like a signification of fight or flight. It's like, listen, we understand the magnitude of what's at stake.
Right.
Humanity and human treatment equally is the biggest thing we need to fight for. I'm not fighting just for myself. I'm fighting for you, Pooh. I'm fighting for my best friends. I'm fighting for my queer babies, the people that
Right.
are trying to figure it all out. That's the problem. I feel like we need to understand we live in an individualistic society, obviously, versus like
Yeah.
living in like an Asian country or anywhere else that's a collectivist society. Everything's done for either individual self or yourself as a community. And when those two things clash in those societies, it gets a little bit weird. It gets to be a
Mm-hmm.
bit strange. Like, why are you thinking this way? Why are you fighting for other people and not
Right.
yourself first? I'm like, I can still fight for myself and fight for others like me. I can multitask and everything's important. There's no level of importance when it comes to rights and legislation, when it comes to saying, my rights are important, yours not so much. But
Yeah.
mine though, can we get into it? Because it's not fair. Because to say
Mm-hmm.
that your rights are less or not as important as my rights, still fight for me though. Absolutely.
Right.
It's an emotional task, an emotionally taxing labor, and then there's no need for that. There's no need for you to be laboring upon other people, saying you need to
Yeah.
fight for me, but I will not reciprocate any of that energy upon you though.
See, and the thing about that is as well, like it's super frustrating because even as an individual that you already have to deal with a lot of conflict between, the community of your own race, which is the black community overall, but also having to deal with rejection from a community that's supposed to be accepting of how you identify and how you are. It's like
Bruh.
that borderline struggle is just having to, like, on what side do I depend more? Because one side doesn't like me because I am trans, or I am, gender fluid, or I am this, but the other side really doesn't fuck with me either way because of just how I am, or simply because of my race as well. Because there is still a lot of racist LGBTQIA people, and they're evidently very active still in our community, and it creates this tension and this separation that affects individuals, especially trans individuals, because they're constantly already diminished by not only media, by not only pop culture, by not only the society itself, but even by the members in our own community, which are supposed to be the shelter, the protection. They're supposed to be the norm of basically acknowledging that, hey, we got your back no matter what situation or whatever what situations affecting your life currently at the moment. Like, you're still our sister, you're still our brother, you're still our sibling, you're still part of us, so we should be there no matter what conflict we may have with each other. But I do agree with you in the sense that we're very individualistic, we're very narcissistic sometimes in the things we actually fight for, the things we actually project our voices for, which is super unfortunate because obviously as POC individuals, our experiences are a little, we have a different perspective of how we see things, because we don't only see things from the perspective of a person who's LGBTQIA. We see perspectives from a person that is Latino, that is black, that is Asian, that is, a certain ethnicity that is usually very diminished by society, that is very targeted by society. And, it is very frustrating. But at the same time, I think one thing I can acknowledge is that we do have an important thing to always have and depend on, even though a lot of people feel like, they're sometimes very conflicted or sometimes they're very wishy-washy, but it depends. But allies are extremely sacrosanct. They are
Not
sacrosanct to how our community should function, because even though we have our own backs, even though we support each other, that's not gonna make us win everything that we have. That's not gonna make us achieve every goal that we have in order
not
to achieve, a proper peace and the love and the respect and the rights that we deserve as individuals. It starts with acknowledging that there is humans that are not like us, but we can mutually agree with each other, that we have mutual respect for each other and mutual love and care for each other as well. So allies is something that I think should be emphasized more. Of course, there's allies that should still get educated, because at the end of the day, every day you learn and you learn more, and you learn from your mistakes, and you learn to not only progress from your mistakes, but you learn how to acknowledge the mistakes that you did, and to not make sure you apply them to situations in the future. Because at the end of the day, what you're defending is not only the rights of a person, you're defending their livelihood, you're defending their health,
not
you're defending their rights beyond that, from everything, not just health rights, physical rights, act rights, the rights for education, rights for actually having a job, again, livelihood. Like, it goes beyond just the parameters of you just saying, oh, trans rights, trans rights. No, go actually there and protest. Go actually and speak your voice out for your sisters, for your brothers, for your siblings. Go actually go there and talk to these politicians and these senators and these people that are involved with these policies and, rights and bills and everything that are implemented, and actually voice it out. Because at the end of the day, when these people who are constantly diminished for raising their boys have backup, the people that they are basically confronting will notice, like, hey, they are really, really coming for us to make a change, and they're not gonna give up until we make that change. So, yeah. And it's crazy because right now we're a couple days. By the way, this is being recorded on June 27th, so we're almost done with Pride Month. However, we wanted to also highlight positive aspects of the month. So basically, this month, obviously, a lot of makeup brands. For people that don't know, I'm a makeup artist. I do a lot of makeup art. I do a lot of makeup artistry online. Post a lot of looks and stuff, as well as Miss Shonsky. So one topic that is very controversial on Pride Month is makeup companies, Pride collections. What are your thoughts, girl?
Girl, okay, so I just ended my partnership with Neutrogena
Ooh.
a week ago.
Everybody claps, bitch. Okay, she get in the bag.
One of the things I will say I noticed, not from this brand, from brands in particular, when it comes to queer washing, when they are divvying out their sponsorships for the month, have you ever noticed, especially last year and the year prior, they will give sponsorships to people that are not queer, that are not trans, that are not LGBTQ+. I'm like, okay, now you're making it obvious that you do not actually care about queerness or the culture of queerness or your queer base, your queer consumer base, X, Y, and Z. You just made it abundantly clear you don't care because you actually cared. You would pay queer creators to promote your lines. You would pay queer creators to be on your teams. What I'm sick of, I'm sick of queer people being on the mood boards, but not at the table. I'm sick of queer people being a part of the vision, but not the actual vision. Like, I took inspiration from this queer person.
Also, no shade. Why is the vision so light? Why is the vision this color?
It's giving Caucase.
It's giving Black China bleaching cream. So baby,
why that is because white queerness is palatable to the cisgender straight audiences.
Yeah.
It's like white queerness is being able to say, I wear nail polish, I'm queer. And because
come on now,
I will be most accepted in all spaces. So I don't have to worry about fighting for anyone. But back to the queerness in the makeup industry, there was literally a brand that came up with an LGBTQ plus palette and got some of the shade names wrong. I think it was like they spelled one of the acronyms.
I saw that.
And Mac Daddy commented on that, saying, if you're going to make a pride-themed palette, get it correct.
Also, how do you misspell LGBTQ? Like LG. It's not even a word. It's not even an abbreviation. It's actual letters together. Like LGBTQ. It's 5 fucking letters. How you fuck that up? And it's not like, there was a typo on one palette. They literally made the palette with like really misspelled names of like LGBT terms.
How did you get that wrong? And then a creator got upset, like, I'm going to donate X amount of dollars to this brand to help them in their startup to make sure they're financially funded. I'm like, why couldn't you just give that money to the Trevor Project or any LGBTQ plus organization? And it was bare bands. He was giving a lot of money to this brand. I'm like, now you're just flexing that you have money, but you don't care. You don't give a fuck about queerness or queer people. If you really cared, you would have said, I'm not donating to you. I'm going to donate to a Black and brown organization that supports trans and queer youth, for instance.
Exactly.
Or locally or countrywide. But no, you wanted to support a brand that didn't put too much research into this particular community and just wanted to make money off of us. And now brands are starting to see you cannot profit off of queerness the way you used to, which is why I love the evolution of consumerism. The average consumer now is more intelligent than the person that's on the board.
That's facts. We got to give the consumer more credit now than back then. The consumer is very knowledgeable, and the consumer, once they see fuckery, they call out that fuckery, and if they ain't fucking with it, bitch, your sale's not going to go through.
No. People are like the evolution of, cleaner ingredients in products. What is the background behind the people behind the brand as well? Can we talk about it though? People are like, okay, the products are sickening, but this person behind it, I don't want to put money in their pockets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a little insight-y about something we're going to talk later on. But yes, that is something that is very critical in the sense of like brand owners reflecting the same morals that they say their company has, which is so ironic because a lot of them, they like to make these products, they like to make these collections, but at the same time, who the fuck are you voting for behind the scenes? Who rights are you fighting for behind the scenes?
We
You know
just
what?
saw a recent makeup brand that all of the girlies love and an iconic trans woman tutorials used to collab with back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw how I think it was, I believe, no, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was the president of the company, possible CEO. I don't think it was the CEO.
No, it was the sister of the former president.
Yeah, we saw, that's who it was. We saw the blatant transphobia coming out from this person. However, this was a brand that literally backed a trans woman. Now we see backed a trans woman.
Yeah,
So
I was about to comment on that over the fact that we're not going to mention their brand's name because number one, I personally do not support their brand and I don't go by, I really do not support their morals. I don't think, also I've never been a fan of their products as well, but that's just a personal opinion. That's a little kick in because I don't really fuck with them like that. I don't mind saying that. Fuck them. But one thing I will say was their mistreatment of a trans client with their product, what they got over the sales of that collection with you know who, and what she got was fucking abysmal. But the thing is, that still is affecting black POC and even just white trans girls as well. That is so disgusting to see still be done today with sponsors, with opportunities, but the consumer's waking up. The consumer's waking up. Go ahead, love.
and brands are shaking now because of that, because they're saying, oh my God, the old trickery and foolery that I used to use on my clientele base is not working anymore, because the average consumer is going to do extensive research on a singular product alone.
Mm-hmm.
I work in makeup retail. I've had clients come in and ask me questions about products, literal basic research. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I work here. I'm supposed to know this. Like, I'm supposed to know to sell you this. But the fact that you know this to be able to purchase it,
Right.
come on
Right.
now, because knowledge is power. And there's a lot of
Absolutely.
people saying the less the client knows, the better. No, I want them to be as informed as possible, because of the simple fact that why would I want them to have something that they're going to end up loathing having in their collection? What's the point?
And that's the thing about products and makeup. What I feel like a lot of people are ashamed of, like, actually like doing their research and being concerned about certain things. No, fucking do that, because that's how you hold brands accountable. Like, if you buy a product, see how much it is worth. How many ounces does it have? Does it have ingredients that may affect me? Does it have a formula that I really enjoy? Do not be afraid to share or voice your opinions about whether its campaign was not as inclusive as it should have been, or whether the product is not promoted as to be the product of what it was sold. Whenever you see that, call that out. Call that out, because that is genuine respect for the client, and that's genuine concern that the brand should address if they know they're actually putting a stunt with their clients. So,
When
and,
it
and
comes
when they
when it comes to that too, sorry, I didn't mean, I'm just
no,
thinking, people like to say holding them accountable. Like, just because you holding someone accountable, think of it like your friends, basically. Can you say you really care about your friends if you're not holding them accountable for their shitty actions?
ooh, ooh.
Can you really say I love you so much and see them on the decline, making terrible decisions, being an asshole, just being a terrible friend, period? So
Can you
think
still
of
be
that.
friends with somebody that you're LGBTQIA, but they still actively make homophobic, transphobic comments?
Are you asking me if I could?
No. I'm saying, like, in general, like, could people listening to this podcast, could you continue to still be friends with somebody who is actively has a homophobic stance or a transphobic stance on everything, but you're a very, supportive of the community, but also you could be LGBTQIA? Like, could you possibly actually still have a friendship with this individual? And it doesn't matter if, you had a relationship with them for years, so you know them very close. Could you possibly actively still have a relationship with this individual, even though this individual is very anti something you really stand for? It's like a lot of people have to question that in terms of accountability. Are you really putting your friends accountable for their actions and the things that they say? Because at the end of the day, they're commenting on other people's livelihood. They're commenting on other people's health. They're commenting on other people's way of living. They're commenting on the life of another person that they have to survive for.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I
Like,
agree with that.
because when it come back, like circling back to that as far as pride goes, there's always, like, because we have to appreciate our allies as well, but y'all gonna make mistakes too. But there are some things you just should not do. The girls that said, I love the gays. I love my trans girls. Purge, house down child, sis. But then
the
have
house.
the house. But then they'll have the homophobic jock boyfriend that calls me the T slur or calls you an F slur.
The moment you catch them wrong, bitches, you fucking faggot. I'm like, ooh.
Is that what we're doing now? Oh, so I'm that now. But then they're like, I can change him. That's not.
First of all, bitch, I'm not a faggot. I'm the faggotron. Second, you're not gonna disrespect me, bitch, with all that mouth you got in your shit, all that shit you got in your mouth, all that nasty AK. When you know damn well your boyfriend's booty cakes have been eaten out before, bitch. They ate that shit like sweet Abby cake, Miss Thing. Okay, honey buns up in that motherfucker. So don't even disrespect me like that. Like, girl, now. Then calling yourself an ally, bitch. You're an ally to the devil, bitch. You're the devil's advocate.
Giving very much Satan. Yeah, it's gonna be very much LGBT.
Don't talk about Roger like that. Don't do that.
Leave my sis alone. Don't put respect on my name. It's Roger Smith. Put respect on my girl name.
Don't talk about Satan. I can't. Ooh, child. It's hot up in here, girl.
Ooh, girl. But like, you gotta look inwardly as a consumer, as an ally, X, Y, and Z, because they all play an integral part to how people are being treated. Like, back to brands. Like, if you're allowing these brands to make these terrible decisions, then are you actually consuming intelligently? Honestly,
yeah.
We're in a new era of intelligent consumerism. As terrible as it may be, because I feel like consumerism is a little bit much, you know.
I mean, we do live in a capitalist country and nation, so I'm not surprised that consumerism.
I don't live here. Girl, you know I'm from Mars, girl. I'm just visiting.
No, I'm from planet Her. Let me talk to let me call Dodisha Cat. Girl, what you doing?
Oh, Gina, girl, what's tea?
Right. Also, this phone case, y'all. I love this phone case because it has the only two things that matter in 2020 are right here.
Period.
Especially the face.
Come on now.
And just as a reminder, if you didn't remember, Black Trans Lives Matter. And we're going to keep mentioning that. That is an eternal hashtag. That's a trend that never fades away. It's just to make sure.
Because it's not a trend. I love seeing, did you remember the girl last year at the riots in NYC who took her photo ops? Like, Black Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter. Took her pictures as she went home.
Disgusting. Terrible.
I was like, girl, did you want a photo op? Because
she wasn't the only one. It was like a bunch of influencers that literally had photographers with them.
There was someone that got married or proposed during a riot. We need to do better.
Are they from Florida?
We as queers and trans girls, we need to do better. Because why are we allowing that?
I'm surprised. That's the thing. It's like, I love how they call people that protested about Black Lives Matter violent, but at the same time, if we were really violent, we would have knocked this bitch the fuck out. And
you know how we could turn over? You've seen freaking fights at gay bars. Like, could you imagine as a countrywide moment though?
One thing you would never seen y'all straight people never seen three faggots drunk as fuck at a club, bitch, swinging like ain't no motherfucking hell, bitch. Girl,
come on now.
If we were really violent, there would have been a lot more injuries last year, bitch. More injuries.
At a club called Main Event here in Cincinnati. It's a cute little gay. It's a little gay moment, girl. And I was there with my friend, you know, having a long night, and this guy was getting real upset, and he was arguing with someone like, "You're not even in my fucking tax bracket." Guy got a bottle out of his car, broke the bottle, said, "Bitch, you want to fight?" I was like,
"That's right."
I'm not watching, but I'm gonna watch from over here. I'm observing. A little moment. I said, "Oh no,
that girl." That'd be like me, because you know, for people that don't know, obviously, Miss Shansky is from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I live in Orlando, Florida. But your boy grew up in Puerto Rico as well as New York. And in New York, the girls don't play that. Miss Thing, you start with that. Oh, you a faggot, this and that. I'm like, what you say? You said my foot up your ass? Like, girl, we not about to degrade me, bitch. I'm a goddess. I only let a king come in because, bitch, this is what the queen embodies. Like, Miss Thing.
Big motherfucking purr, bestie.
Okay. Like, you shall not touch. And first of all, you should not touch me in my space, in my area that my family assigned for my protection. You know what I mean? Like, the fuck do you think you have a nerve to actually disrespect me at a gay club? Like, Keisha, who the fuck? No, not Keisha. Ashley, who the fuck told you to come here alone, bitch?
It's very much Ashley's though, but they
very Madison, very much that, you know.
But they buy me drinks, so I'm fine.
But see, it's always that Rebecca. Rebecca's the cool bitch.
Like, you want a drink? Yeah.
See, I fuck with Rebecca's and Jessica's, because Jessica's like borderline. She white, but she fuck with everybody, you know.
she's an ally.
She's one of the girls. She's one of the girls.
One of the sisters. She's one of the girls. Yeah. Also, speaking of the girls, question for you: what advice would you give to the queer babies out there that are listening? What advice would you give to them about coming to accept their queerness and also proclaiming their queerness as a whole?
Interesting. So I'm gonna give a little bit of backstory about me in particular because we have similar backstories in the sense of how we grew up and stuff. So I grew up in a very Christian home. Both of my parents are still. Well, my dad he's still a youth pastor. So I grew up being a part of a church, being a part of the congregation, being a part of the choir, all that. Hello. So I was always aware that I was a very effeminate kid, and very much not only effeminate. I was also somebody who was very into like, yes, I was into sport and very masculine things, but I was also into very very hyper feminine like stuff. Like I love nails, I love lashes, I love hair, I love music, I love pop stars. Like that was like my thing. Like I was so visually attracted to it, and I felt so connected to it. And then around the age of 13 was the first time I've ever had any sort of a experience with a guy. It was the first time I ever kissed a boy, and it was just this boy who I was like really close friends with, and we started to get to know each other, and we were like like super connected in a way, and we just like we had certain emotions for each other. We had butterflies, literally. So it felt the first time I kissed him, it felt like something in me like switched. Like it felt like I realized a part of me that I never knew I had in myself. And then at the age of 14, when I started high school, because I was the grade ahead because I was always a young kid that was pretty smart in terms of school. And when I was 14, I came out to my mom. And my mom took it extremely, extremely hard because I was disciplined very, very hard. My dad was not necessarily, I wouldn't say necessarily aggressive, but he was extremely, extremely, very disciplinarian. So it was extremely difficult to like even speak to my mom about it because my mom had her own conflicts with the church and stuff and things that were happening at home plus other stuff. And to her at first she didn't accept it. She didn't respect it at all. And I came out to her, a lot of people don't know this, but I came out as gender fluid when I was 14. So I've been gender fluid for like borderline 7-8 years now because I'm 22 now, so I've been like girl 8 years. I don't know how to count, bitch, so whoop. But basically for 8 years of my life I already started using female pronouns, and I started using she, her, because that's something that I felt good with, and that's something that I felt like was respectful. At first it was actually only she and her, and then I started integrating he and him because as I eventually grew up and understood more my gender identity, there's certain masculine parts about me that I really do like, and masculinity is something that obviously it can't be toxic, but at its fundamental core it has also very positive aspects of it as well. And I love femininity. I love both of them, and I think they both represent different aspects of me, so that's pretty much why I identify as gender fluid. But coming back to my mom, so basically a lot of situations happened growing up. High school happened. I was a little bit more laid back in high school because in middle school I was super feminine. Like I had long hair. I was the emo kid, so I had long hair. I had the spikes. I had the hood. Bitch, Avril Lavigne, who I ate on that bitch.
Hey,
Girl, every motherfucking day I come with spikes, bitch. I came with like neon colors. I used to have pink hair. I dyed my hair since I was 12 years old, girl. I have every single hair color. Right now it's like borderline dry out blonde. But ashy blonde as they like to call it, which I'm okay with that. But basically I was super like eccentric, super like creative, like very, I was also borderline avant-garde because I love that type of art. I love that type of like music, art, and culture. And that was always something that I felt connected to because it was weird, it was different, it was treated as something that was not the norm, which is why to me I think the point where I knew that I wanted to be different, or the person that made me feel like I was different. Obviously I had a lot of gay people that were very influential in my life, a lot of gay mentors, a lot of LGBTQIA people that were really significant to me. But I think I would say the public figure that made me feel like, okay, this is acceptable for me to do, or this is acceptable for me, was probably Lady Gaga, because she was around that time like the only, like, being realistic, she was the only like extremely eccentric avant-garde, like borderline avant-garde like individual out there. She was like super super pro LGBT. She was weird, she was eccentric, she was treated by the public as like a freak, and I felt related to that because she was loved even by being this, you know, over exaggeration of a character. She was a character that people generally love and that people still care for to this day, even though obviously we have gotten to meet Stephanie, who Stephanie Joanna Angelina Gimanata is. But at the end of the day, you know, the significance of Lady Gaga, especially in the early 2010s and late 2000s, is very critical because the 2010s, I feel like it's a decade where people started really, really evolving into what gender identity truly is. Like a gender identity did, bitch. It got that Mario mushroom. It went one up. That shit,
Bruh.
girl. Like I never knew that in 2022 or in 2021, really, there was gonna be this many people that identify as trans, non-binary, gender fluid. Like that's not something we used to speak about in 2010, 2009, 2008. Like that was not the topic of conversation. It was only gay, lesbian, bisexual, and maybe trans if they were included at some point, because back then they were still, even in the 2000s, they were extremely diminishing trans people in the community.
Yeah.
But I will say this, I came out when I was 14. Over the years, I've been able to work more on my relationship with my dad as well as my mom. My mom is very accepting now. My mom helps me a lot, actually, with my makeup looks and stuff. She built one of my crowns for one of my looks out of candy.
Oh yeah.
And I have a video of that. When people see that, they're like so gagged that my mom like actually helped me build my stuff. My mom has met like some of the people I dated. And she's like, and it's so funny because now we key, like we're friends and stuff. Like we key like friends and all that. And she's like, oh my God, you're not going to date him. He was so ashy and nasty. Like she'll literally straight up tell me like, you're not going to date him. I want the other boy was nicer for you. But as well, I still identify as bisexual. So I still have interest in certain women and certain females that I meet as well. And I have interactions as well with them. And I am okay. And I feel so happy that I don't need to have the acceptance of everybody that was my family growing up, because what I realized, and goes out to everybody, every young queer baby, you need to listen to this. You will find your tribe. If you think you are alone and there's nobody you're gonna connect to, and there's nobody that's gonna understand that pain and suffer you're going through because you're having issues or you're struggling with your identity, trust me, baby, there is gonna be, even if it's that one little faggy kid, bitch, it could be, you know, in the middle of Midwest, whatever the fuck, Wisconsin, or it could be somebody living in the big city. You are going to meet that person that's going to be a part of your tribe. You are going to meet that person that's going to be connected with you in some way. You're going to meet that person that's really going to become what really is family. Because family is not blood related. Because somebody told me once that blood related family are just relatives. People that care about you and emotionally are loyal to you no matter what situation, that's family.
Was that a word I heard?
Okay. Well, she said R-E-S-P-C-T. Okay, girl. She said, you better put some respect on my family, bitch. And, you know, that was basically my experience. Obviously, I went through a lot of bullying. I fought a lot of bullies because I was not a bum bitch. Whenever they call me faggot, I used to be like, you little fuck ass bitch. I dare you to say that shit right to my face. And I'm from New York, so you know, bitch, the fist went off. Square up, girl.
Who said?
I said you said my foot up your ass, like, girl.
Very much that,
girl. But yeah, but that was pretty much my experience in terms of like, what can I say to like young queer babies? It's just be patient, honestly. If you feel like it's not, I will say, if you feel like you're in an environment that is not safe for you and it is critical for your livelihood, then I do think you should find resources online. You should contact people. You should try your best to get out of that situation, because we wouldn't want anything extremely negative to happen. That is not acceptable, especially in 2021, to see people that are still committing suicide, to see people that are still murder for hate crimes. That is not fucking acceptable. We will not tolerate that shit anymore whatsoever. So if you do have the ability to find resources, to find help, to find people that you can connect with, and, you know, really just not only congregate between all of you, not only develop this family system between all of you, to find this home, to find this shelter, to find this, you know, space where you guys can be together and not only be yourselves but live as yourself, because there's a difference between being yourself and living as the way you are. Because a lot of people are themselves. Society doesn't let them live as themselves.
This is true.
All right. So what about you, Miss Shonsky? Tell us a little bit about you. You know, Miss Thing. I know you've been through a lot, bitch, but you got stories.
Girl, so hi everyone. As you know, I'm Shonsky, 21-year-old trans woman icon here.
Icon.
My, you know, very Aisha erotica tease, but
okay.
But my backstory dates back to. So I'm a makeup artist, and makeup and I have a very, very close relationship with one another, because that was my avenue to figure out my transness. It took a little bit longer than I thought it would, because I was I lived in a Black Baptist household, member of the church, in the choir. All the gay girls and the trans girls are in the choir, all of them. No, and anyone that tells you otherwise is probably also gay or trans.
Everybody who was in my choir group, girl, they're all a bunch of fags right now. So I feel that. That's scary.
It's giving queenery, baby. It's giving very
Okay.
queenery.
Preach.
Come on now. But I grew up in the church, and that was my life. My granddad was a deacon. My grandmother was like deaconess of the church. My big Baptist church. My dad was deacon in training. My mom was she was Christian, but never went to church. She said church was inside her, which didn't make sense because she made me go to church, whatever. And having those values instilled in me and it being indoctrinated into my life made me not think to question anything about my life. But then, I understood myself more and more that I'm a free spirit. I belong to the wind. And being that free spirit in the black sheep of my family, it gave me the chance to question things very, very, very closely and look at them critically about how is my upbringing affecting me as a person. It got to the point where we're watching a lot of black media back in the day. Queer people and trans people used to be the butt of the joke all the time. And I would see my family, whole family is in here keying at, because back in the day, being trans to some people was just being a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
And, oh, look at that man in that dress. Or look at that woman trying to be a man.
Or you had media that was exploitive of trans people, such as AKA that bitch whole trick as known as Maury and Jerry Springer.
See, it's always the thing about, it's the trick. She tricked him, even though I'm not gonna get into it too much, but they seek us out.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
They look for us. They look for us. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but they look for us. They know what they know what they did.
Yeah.
They know what they like, a full self-flavored woman.
They said when you get the pedicure special, no baby, I want pedicure and manicure. I said,
I'm a fully flavored, self-made woman. He knows what he likes. But back to my story. I had to figure out my life very, very quickly. My family household was not the greatest. My mom was a narcissist, and my dad is just abusive, period.
Right.
And my coming out story, honestly, I didn't get to have one until I was an adult. Your girls like to watch little adult media.
Another one with that is, once upon a time, we all have to get our delight.
Girl, I'll just keep it cute. I'll just say it flat out. Your girl had porn on her internet history. And my mom and I were sharing my computer at the time because she didn't have one.
Oh.
I was given one by my grandparents. So I was at school because her friend was in town. He took me to work or took me to school. I got back home from school and I see my mom in her room on my computer because when I was walking into the front of my house, her room was in the front part of the house. So I was like, uh-oh. She was sitting there waiting, computer open, was like, we need to talk. I said, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. We ain't got shit to talk about, Mary. No, we don't.
Oh, she said, no, we don't. No, we don't have to talk about.
Who's we?
We. First of all, my pronouns are not we, so get it together, bitch.
Her, transphobic, ma'am. But that was my coming out. She forced me out of the closet. I said, I'm bisexual. Because I was like, maybe if I tell her I still like girls, I won't be as in trouble. And this is my pre-transition era.
Right.
So me before my coming of age movie.
Before the princess acknowledged that she became the queen that she is today, right?
Very much, girl. When she was just a young little thing. So she told everyone. She told my dad, who told my grandparents, who told the rest of my family that this little girl over here is a queen. And that caused physical abuse from my parents or from my dad, mental abuse from my mom, and then I ended up having to live a double life. I went to an art school, which was where I could be my truest self and where my chosen family was.
And she can sing, baby. Y'all haven't heard Miss Shonsky sing. Miss Shonsky girl, Jennifer husband. I don't know her. Miss Thing. We got we got LaShawn up in this bitch. She got pipes, bitch. Ooh.
I always wanted to be a sexy jazz singer. Dress like Jamaican whoopee, but regardless,
right.
When I found makeup, like my grandparents were like going to church and they were like, oh, we're gonna go to church, you coming? I said, I'm just so sick, girl. I'm just so sick. I'm sick, baby. You go ahead and go. Y'all have fun. And when she
Right.
would go, I would go in her beauty. She had a whole beauty room, which is probably why I want one right now. Beauty room down with Mary Kay and Avon products, girl, and Maybelline.
Mommy was the same way. Oh my God, Mary
Mary
Kay.
Kay down, girl. Yeah.
Down.
And I would try on her makeup. I would put on her heels. I would put on her dresses. I would like, I don't know why, but I feel so centered. I feel so real, but I don't know what this feeling is. And it was a little scary. Took some makeup home. So I stole from her. Yeah, I stole from her. No shade. I did. I don't feel bad about it. But she didn't know it was gone.
Girl, that's me and my mom. I remember one time there was a Maybelline foundation she used to like, and I took that shit out because I was using that shit every day. She asked me, "Do you have this?" I said, "Ma'am, are you referring to me as a stealer? Your own son?
A thief?
A thief?
In the night?
Are you really just know that God is listening, bitch. And he listening to the triflinity you're saying right now. You just call me a thief. How fucking dare you?" And then she said, "Rafy, is it in your fucking room?" I said, "You know what? Yeah." I didn't want to get slapped. I was like, "Girl, let me."
Yeah, sorry. But having that experience with makeup, in my transness and my queerness, I was a constant state of invalidation, a constant state of you're not that, or if you are that, I was told by a family member that I would end up contracting AIDS and dying.
Jesus Christ.
It was rough, and it was constant invalidation. People telling me what the fuck I am, who the fuck I am. So let's flash over to me being in college. 2018. I went to college in Washington State for a year. Best experience of my entire life.
Shout out to Washington.
Shout out to Miss Pullman, girl. I love y'all. Kinda. But no, I love y'all. Y'all got
said, I love y'all, but girl, then tuition pay. Ooh.
Bruh, you know I'm poor. Poor, broke back.
Girl, she had me looking for my EBT card. I said, "Can I pay with EBT?" I was like, "Girl."
Come on now. And I was like, it was my first ever time being like, I'm gonna try she pronouns. And my friends were referring to me, because everyone would be like, "Hey sis," like all my black girls would be like, "Hey sis, hey poo," like "Hey girl," like it was very that. So I was like, I'm not a girl. Hold on. Am I? I feel so connected when people say that to me. So it was that, and then flash forward to last year in quarantine, bitch. Quarantine, girl.
It changed.
Literally, everyone had to fucking look introspectively. Like, bitch, you need to figure yourself out. And I was like, I'm tired of feeling bad about myself. I'm tired of feeling this sense of, it's never gonna go away, but the sense of dysphoria in my body. I have dysphoria like in my shoulders, but I used to get told all the time, "You're built like a linebacker or a quarterback." I'm like, I'm built like I'm gonna break your man's back, actually. But
that's another thing, another topic talking about, when you're dealing with, obviously, because I feel like to an extent I have dealt with some form of body dysmorphia or some sort of dysphoria when it comes to my physical appearance. And then when you got bitches already hating you because you're a fag, but also hating you because you're fat, that is a double whammy, bitch. Like that.
Damn, double homicide.
That was that. Oh, she did that. Okay, but if 2 + 2 is 4, flop plus 5 is 10. Bitch, what the fuck is this? Like that is really what they were thinking. Like they were looking at us like, you fat and you fat. Like what you going for? I'm like,
you already got. That's how it used to be for my family. Like, okay, you're already black, so you have a strike against you societally. Now you want to be trans? I said, I don't want to be anything. I just am. That's one thing.
Exactly.
And here's my advice to my queer babies, to make a long story short. I want you to think of coming out. We're in a new era. We're in a new age now.
New times.
I want you to think of your coming out as a proclamation of your identity and the reclamation of your power.
Facts, speak.
Because I'm proclaiming to the world that I am who I am. I am what I am. There's no changing it. And I'm reclaiming my power, because there's a sense of like, when you're in the closet, it's your most vulnerable state. Because I'm like, I can't tell anyone anything. I can't tell anyone that my life is not what is seen as palatable to cishet white people. Because at the end of the day, being POC and black people, what it's like. A lot of identities, like, we have to do what is best to make white people make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, we have to adapt, and we have to.
Our realities are centered around making white people feel comfortable. I'm good. I'm done with that. I'm sorry. Wrong, right, black bitch today. Sorry. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm good.
No,
I'm
baby,
good.
you mix.
I'm Afro-Caucasian, y'all. I'm me. I'm me. I'm me.
That every time, next time a carrot ever tries you, if you black and you know you got a little bit of, you got, you know you damn boy, you got a little bit of English in you. Just tell him, bitch, I'm Afro Caucasian. You can't tell me shit.
Bro, I am Anglo-Saxon, bitch.
Anglo
Actually.
Anglo-Saxon Africana, girl.
Yeah. Like, girl, I'm sorry, I'm mixed.
What
I'm
what did
just
Raven Simone say? I'm from every continent except Africa.
yeah, like I'm just black passing y'all. This is just a Nikita Dragon. Ooh,
Oh,
shit.
you know what, girl? Let's not talk to the babies, girl.
But reclaim your power. Reclaim the fact that, like, because when you're in the closet, it's your most vulnerable time. Take it back.
Yes.
Take all that time back, all that pent up sadness and vulnerability. Take it back. It's yours now. You don't need to feel that way anymore. And if these people are not going to accept you for you, do not fight to keep them around.
Absolutely.
Stay within yourself. If someone does not want to see you for you, but you still love them, push them, move on. Because I promise you this, if they don't see you for you the first time, okay. But the people because you will find your chosen family. The people that you want to attract, they will come and find you. You will
Yeah,
find
your tribe will be directed towards you. I'm telling you, that's a
like
fact.
it may take some time. Let that happen. Let it happen. Because when your people come around that love you for you and validate your experiences as whomever you are, it makes those relationships more special and makes them more meaningful. It makes them feel as if it were meant to happen. Like it's
Right.
just not going anywhere. Like those people, if someone can literally leave your life on the drop of a dime because of your transness, your queerness, who you like, who you go to bed as, who you go to bed with, they didn't see you for you at all. So why
Right.
keep them around? Because my thing is, I know people can change. Like my mom, I came out to her as trans. Everything went well. Everything went well like this time around, and she's actually been making an active effort to tell people that I am trans. So good for her.
Which is great.
But I think it's disrespectful to expect someone to stick around for said change.
That is true.
Like people can change, absolutely, but I feel like it's disrespectful and an emotionally taxing labor to expect them to stick around for your change.
Right.
No, I'm not the one that needs to change here and reflect. You do. So I'm gonna keep living my life. You figure out your problems. I'm gonna live my life and live it well.
Right. At some point, I would like to do. We're obviously going to do another episode concerning about transness as well as dealing with gender identity. But we want to have a professional with that one, so that way we can obviously have somebody that can clearly fact check us and have constantly there. But in terms of Ms. Shonsky saying, I do agree in the sense that you're gonna eventually find your tribe, but you have to unapologetically love yourself. Treat
Yes,
yourself how you would treat others, because at the end of the day, it's just because somebody's hating on you doesn't mean you have to reflect that hate upon others.
that's
Because
true.
others are not, the others are not the reason as to why you're hurt. You're hurt through your own experiences and your own situations. So you don't want to reflect that upon other people. If you want other people to help you and other people that are like you and you want them to relate to your experience, just be honest with them and just try to connect with them, because a lot of people at the end of the day, you may not realize it, but a lot of people are just like you, bitch. You may not be the exact same person, but you guys been through shit that makes you feel like, oh wow, we're connected. We're one. We're one with each other. And that's basically what, the LGBT community is about. It's about not only the fact that we obviously share the same thing, which is our sexuality is attractive the same type, but it's also the fact that, due to our society, due to our history, we've been discriminated so heavily upon, we've been hated on, we've been, hate crime. We had a lot of things happen to us, extremely negative things.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we're still able to come into spaces and still showcase who we are, and not only, promote it around the world in terms of, pride campaigns, things, pride clubs, events, but the fact that we can do it freely, and the fact that we're
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically still the same people that we were, and
Yeah.
that we're basically telling you, hey, I don't have a desire to engage in a war with you. I have a desire to show you that I'm just like you, and I just want you to love me the same way I love you. So.
And the thing about it is, after coming out as trans,
Mm-hmm.
now it's become very apparent that a lot of people, even in our own community, don't know how to reciprocate that because of their
Yeah,
own trauma, which
that's
is
true.
why I'm glad we are a community because we can help each other out. And back to like the thing, I want to give a big shout out to one of my gurus.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Eli, and he's like my best friend. He's been like my best friend for like 2 years now. We met at one of my old friends' graduation parties,
Mm-hmm.
and when I talk about support in our lives, he's the most supportive person. Like one of my very like shit. He's like a brother to me, bitch. He's very very like
Right.
sweet when it comes to supporting my art and me as a trans person. Like he literally said, like, I have these access to trans resources if you want them or need them, like let me know. And appreciate those people in your life. Like my best friend, who's my roommate, you know her, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Annalisa,
Alicia girl, what's poppin'? Shout out to Alicia girl. She's the OG
like
bitch.
the original bad bitch, her.
Okay. She was
But
the empress of the queens, darling.
like appreciate these people. Like with Eli, I didn't think I would be able to like, oh shit, we have a lot of things in common as like queer people. As like me, a trans woman, he's a gay man. We don't have some differences, obviously, but I'm like, if
Right.
I opened my eyes to see that, oh my god, there's a lot more in common than I thought. Like my best friend Michaela in college, bitch, I traveled across the country for school. Cause I live in Ohio, like we said earlier. Went to Washington State in the city 2 hours away from like Seattle, and met one of my closest of Judy's girl, who is like an icon herself. And I'm like, how the fuck did I feel? How did I think I could find someone whose experiences parallel mine so closely and intricately? And I just met you.
Right.
Like I've never met you in my entire life. What's also what I will say about queerness, something about it makes me feel more connected with my people. I don't know what it is, but
Mm.
when I think of queerness, I think of like the avatar state where you can connect back to all the
Mm-hmm.
previous people that were in your spot right now.
I
I
agree.
don't know. Now that sounds super weird, but I just feel connect people that are here
Yeah,
now.
but I agree because I feel like, in all honesty, and for people that don't know, I am Latino, I am Puerto Rican, and I am mixed. But the thing is,
You are?
oh my god, you didn't know that,
Oh my
girl. You
god.
know what? I'm lying. My name is Michael. I'm from Georgia. Girl, I'm from Kentucky. No, but yes, I'm Puerto Rican. And it wasn't until I came fully out that I was able to like really, really connect with my roots and really understand not only who I am racially, but who I am as well as a person. Because I feel like maybe this would be the case for a lot of POC people as well as people who are black as well. Is the fact that your identity sometimes is really composed of a combination between of what your race is and what your race signifies and the history of your race, as well as your gender identity as well. Like
Yeah,
those two, they a lot of people don't like them to coexist, but the reality is they do, and they
they
are
do.
very apparent in everybody, honey. So it's just I feel connected to. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like because I came out, I feel more of a Latino that I used to be before I came out.
Love
Like I
that.
feel more connected. Like I feel like I am, this Puerto Rican individual who's not only connected to this beautiful culture that has a lot of rich history that was obviously, just like every history was tarnished by things that happened, but at the same time, Puerto Ricans have a lot of influential aspects as well in LGBTQ plus culture because a lot of Puerto Ricans obviously and a lot of black individuals were the reason why voguing and ballroom existed because a lot of Latinos in New York as well as a lot of black individuals that live in New York started forming their own homes, their own houses, and developed little from that until it became pretty much a celebration of pride. It was a Latin and a black person who were trans who started the first concept of doing pride marches and fighting against corporations and things that were going against the rights of trans and LGBTQ plus individuals. So seeing those things and learning more about them makes me more happy to be the ethnicity and the race that I am because it
Mm,
helps me connect to it more. It helps me feel like every part of my identity is acknowledged. Not
yeah.
only my identity as a gender fluid person, but my identity even as a POC individual, which everybody's apparent that black and POC individuals we get treated like absolute garbage, not to the standard of what a person should be treated in this country at all.
No.
But the fact that we're not only able to, learn from it, we're able to create our own culture as well, which I think is fabulous. I think that's why I love it so much, really.
I think queerness, in a sense, is innovation, which is art. Queerness,
Agree.
and us being Black and Brown people, having our cultures as Black and Brown people erased, or the attempt of erasure of our culture because of white supremacy. That intertwined with queerness, both things being the epitome of innovation, renewal, restart, is beautiful in my opinion. Seeing how many queer people saying, well, I was kicked out of my home. I was kicked out. I had nowhere to go. But here I am. I made something of myself. I made me. I made myself. That is innovation. And that's the most beautiful form of art. The conceptualization that I can create my own identity. I can create my own path, my own lane of acceptance and happiness. Like my transitional journey is reflective of that. My transitional journey being different from the next trans girl, and on the opposite end of the spectrum of trans men as well. Everyone's transition is different, but I'm making myself into the woman that I've known who I was for a very long time, and I'm a self-made woman.
Okay. Woo, independent girl.
Come on now, girl. Very much.
I'm a free woman. Girl, she got me on it, bitch.
Get into it, baby.
Okay, girl. But I will say this just to pretty much end the podcast, because we're pretty much coming to the end of the podcast. But I wanted to say, at the end of the day, the first thing you really have to do is just I say sacrosanct a lot because a lot of things are extremely important and they have to be regarded as important. But I think the most important part is that you have to love yourself. Because without loving yourself, there is no way you can progress with your gender identity. There's no way you can progress with socializing with other individuals. There's no way you can live your life truly without actually loving yourself and loving the way you represent yourself. So again, to everybody that's, out there celebrating Pride Month, love yourself, child. Find your tribe, or because they will eventually come to you, you will come to them, but eventually you will find them, and that's a fact. Yeah. And if you don't, bitch, then you got Miss Shonsky here, Miss Rafy Pérez, we'll get you together, bitch, because we love everybody, we treat everybody the same. So, it is what it is. But girl, you have any last words you want to tell to these beautiful, kids, baby, child, ain't nobody paying here for custody. Don't make me charge child custody, bitch. I'm not like Nicki Minaj, bitch. Ain't no bitches in my son's bitch, but. Bruh. What do you want to say to the little girls, boys, legendary boys and girls of the world, as legendary Mother Cordelia would say?
Come on, Cordelia Pooh. Loving yourself is going to play an integral part as how you're going to navigate society. We live in a society where you're going to get hate. You're going to be hated and possibly feared for what they do not know. But your self-actualization will help you navigate through these interactions with people. Because there'll be people that are undercover transphobes or homophobes, but that actualization will give you insight into saying, I'm clocking your tea before you even fucking realize it. So I'm going to go ahead and back away. It's going to help you navigate life. Who you know to be as a person is going to help you figure out how you interact with yourself and the people around you immediately, whether it be friends, families, colleagues, partners, lovers, trade, X, Y, and Z. We don't love trade, though. We don't love them.
Trade is on standby right now, but girl,
love yourself and celebrate who you are, not just during Pride Month, but I know our
every fucking day of the year, bitch.
I know our avatar powers come in during Pride Month. I know that, but remember that every day celebration of it. You're here. You're here right now to make a statement and make a stance for people that come after you. So love yourself and remember that you are the moment, baby. Come on now.
And the thing is, you are the moment. You may be going through all of that right now, but at one point, the same words we're reflecting upon you, you're going to reflect upon somebody else who's dealing with the same thing. But at the same time, when that moment comes, you're going to know what to say and you're going to know how to address them, because not only did you have the people that were there to help you, but you finally learned that not only loving yourself, but finding yourself was all worth it at the end. So, honey, even if it's a long process and even if it's very hard, you will eventually realize who you are as an individual. And once you start figuring out, bitch, you will love yourself like there's no motherfucker in this world that will love you more than you, Miss Thing. So, y'all, with that being said, this is going to be the end of obviously our Pride Month episode. We hope you enjoyed it, Miss Thing. You can follow us at our social media links. I'm at Rafy. At Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all at Rafy PRC, RAFYPRC. Miss Shonsky, where they can find you, Miss Thing?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at ShawnSkyII. That's SeanSkyi. And Shonsky with 2 underscores over on Twitter.
Period. And if you want to see a bitch killing on the TikTok game with makeup, you know Miss Shonsky. If you want to see our content, we do a lot of makeup looks. We post a lot of content over there as well. But for that being said, this is the end of the podcast, my loves. We hope you serve and we hope you live. But as well, we hope you really get your life, Miss Thing. Because at the end of the day, you got to love who you are. You got to live as who you are. And ain't no bitch gonna step in your throne because at the end of the day, the only thing that will come down is a peasant and you're a fucking queen, okay?
Message!
Period, okay? Girl, what did Nicki Minaj say?
Leave IKEA Minaj out of this.
Leave IKEA. You better leave my IKEA bitch alone, okay? She said, I ain't the Kung Fu Panda. Fuck all your block, fuck all your propaganda. You guys don't know nothing about that, bitch. But anyway, y'all, I hope you have a blessed day. Take care. Bye.
Bye.